Alright, let's talk about tsunderes. For those of you that don't know what a tsundere is, allow me to explain. But fair warning, we're about to enter the Weeb Dimension! A tsundere is basically someone who acts mean on the outside, but is actually sweet on the inside. They are usually depicted as anime girls trying to hide their true feelings for a significant other, but this doesn't always have to be the case. It doesn't always have to be about hiding romantic feelings, but it could also just be about gradual respect and admiration that grows over time. Think Vegeta from Dragon Ball. At first he was a cold-hearted Saiyan warrior who hated the low-class Kakarot. But eventually, he was able to respect Goku, and as an added bonus, became a loving husband and daddy. Aw, so cute. So what does this have to do with Pokemon? Well, I thought for this video, I'd talk about some of the best tsunderes the Pokemon franchise has to offer. Now at first it may not seem like there are many, but there are actually quite a few characters that have some tsundere traits we never noticed before. So how about we get started by talking about the former king of Team Plasma, N. Yes, N is totally a tsundere, and here's why. He starts out as a very mysterious guy who has the ability to talk to Pokemon. He's almost like a rival to you in the beginning of the game, seeing as how he constantly challenges you to battles. But the reason he's actually doing this is to hear the voice of your Pokemon. In reality, N hates Pokemon battles since, you know, he's the king of Team Plasma and actually wants to liberate them. Once he has the power of the legendary Pokemon though, it's up to you to find the other one to be able to take him down. Now what makes N unique is the fact that although he's an antagonist, he isn't really a bad guy. He's just doing what he thinks is right, and from his point of view, you're the bad one. Which is why you battle with him at the end to decide the fate of Unova. Of course it's revealed that Gatsis was the one pulling the strings all along, so after this, N basically